So this week we are covering the CSS box model, and we are going to be looking at positioning. We will be covering one of the responsive layouts called Flexbox. And to begin with, you are going to do the web-based readings. And they're all pretty short, but we are going to be looking at a couple different box layouts, a traditional and a flex box layout. And so these readings just give you some background on them. And then we're also going to be looking at CSS styling specific to the layouts that we're going to be working with. And then you're going to go through the lecture demo, which expands quite a bit on those readings. And so I think it's all pretty self-explanatory. What are virtual boxes, how we figure out what is in a box. And then there are links to interactive exercises that you can do. And as always, make sure you go through and do the interactive exercises because they will help you understand all of this material better. Then once you finish the lecture demo, you're going to go through the textbook assignment, followed by the lab assignment. And the textbook assignment is a little bit more directive. There are videos for all of the tasks, and I'm giving you some starter files. And so you're going to download farm and song snippets along with quite a few graphics and a CSS file. And then we start with the traditional box model. So you kind of get a feel for what that's like. And then we work with the Flexbox model. And so this Flexbox is going to be using that same farm HTML as a base. So you do need to make a copy of it. Make sure that you make a copy of it and that you don't change the original. So you're going to copy it and you're going to name it Farm Flexbox. Okay, and then you're going to make the changes in the CSS to convert the traditional box model into a Flexbox model. Okay, and the changes are outlined here. Then you're going to learn a different method for positioning. And so again, you're going to copy the farm file, okay, into a new file, and you're going to call it farm position. And then you're going to make changes to implement absolute positioning. And absolute positioning lets you specifically position elements on your page. And if you wanted to overlap elements and do that kind of thing, you can with absolute positioning. Okay, in our example, we are not going to overlap anything, but just keep in the back of your mind that you can use absolute positioning to overlap things. Okay, so then you're going to open up song snippets where you are going to be adding Flexbox using CSS combinators and that type of thing. Okay, and then at the end, this little grading rubric shows you what you should have complete and what you're going to get points for, and you'll be transferring all of that up to the web. Your lab assignment involves creating your own traditional box model page and your own Flexbox page. And the content can be whatever you want. Okay. I did include a little link here to design theory. So for those of you who haven't had art classes, I think you may find this useful, especially when you are starting to develop your own pages. For your page, your traditional box page, as I mentioned, it can be whatever you want. I did create an example. This is a traditional box page. And you'll notice that as I change the size, it kind of adjusts. Okay. And to see the code, you can right click, view page source. It is in an external file. I believe here's my CSS file. Okay, and the key here is that I am using float and sizing for my boxes. Okay, so that's kind of the key to float left and along with sizing is kind of the key to getting this to work. So here you can see section is what I have assigned widths to, and I've also got float left. You will notice that for the footer, I set it to none and I'm clearing out everything because I don't want that to float, which is a problem that people commonly have. So I don't want this thing to float up next to that. Okay, so this is my example. You can do whatever you want. And for the flex box, you can take the same content that you had in the traditional box and use it over in your flex box. Okay, so you just have to make sure that you put in the flexbox commands. So what you're going to need if you use the same content is you're going to need a different CSS file. Okay, so you'll link in a different CSS and you'll notice that the HTML hasn't changed. The only thing different here is my CSS. Okay, and so you will notice that I no longer have float left in my section. Okay, and instead of having a height and a width, I have some minimal values set and flex 1. Okay, so that's really important. This is the child element. My parent element is the article where I have display flex. Okay, so you're going to need to do something similar. And you'll notice if I start messing with the size here, it is truly Flexbox. That is what Flexbox does. Okay, then you're going to update your assignment page with links, transfer everything to the web, and you will be done with the assignment. Now, a lot of people find Flexbox to be confusing, so I do have some resources that are kind of fun. Flexbox Froggy is a game, and it's a game designed for you to learn Flexbox. So I encourage you guys to play that, and then you can kind of check out the other resources here as well. If you have any problems or questions, please let me know, and have an awesome week.